guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something a little different. Normally Friday I've been doing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh videos, but I wanted to take a step back from Yu-Gi-Oh. Mostly because Master Duel is kicking my ass. I'm having trouble building this last deck. But I also promised this a long time ago, and I finally finished all the testing, and I figured I'd give it to you guys. This is my deck profile for my new Eugene deck. It has been updated. It has actually gone toe-to-toe with all these new grade 4s coming out, and I've actually won my locals quite a few times, and I'm very, very proud of this deck. It can play out of a lot of situations. It has a lot of flexibility. It's great on defense. I will say it needs a finisher. It definitely kind of lacks in the power department in some instances, but we're supposed to be getting a new Eugene, so hopefully that'll fix this problem. But if you guys enjoyed the deck profile, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I do hobby videos every Friday. But enough for me. Let's jump into the deck profile. Alright guys, I'm going to talk kind of fast. I don't want to keep you here all day, but I do want you to understand why I picked the cards I picked. So starting off, we got our ride line, Sunrise Egg. I decided to play Sunrise Egg a little bit as a misdirection. Hopefully my opponent thinks I'm playing Nirvana. We don't have any early game retire now, but if we get it, you know, maybe they'll throw somebody off, they play a rear guard, gets killed. All that fun stuff. Then we've got, obviously, Nigel, Randor, and Eugene. Our ride line hasn't changed since set 1. It's still a very, very good ride line. Lets you start playing with Soul and apply pressure early, and Eugene's just my favorite boss. On to our grade 0s, we're playing 4 heals, that hasn't changed. We're also playing 4 fronts. These are the effect fronts, where if your opponent's at grade 3, when you block with these, you get an extra 5k shield, great for defense. This deck is actually very defensive. They're also great for hitting really, really big numbers, since all of our grade 2s get boosted up. For crits, we're playing 7 crits, 3 vanillas, and 4 of the effect crits. You are calling cards off the top of the deck sometimes, so sometimes you will have to play a trigger. Well, at least with these guys, you could boost with them, then give something 2k, and then use them as Soul Fire after that. We're still playing our 1 Dragon Empire Over Trigger. I have thought about switching that out for the Cray Elemental one, but I've kept it in for now. On to our grade 1s. To go along with our 1 Nigel, we are playing 3 more. Nigel's still one of the best grade 1s. If you retire one of your opponent's rear guards, you get to retire another rear guard for a counterblast. The deck doesn't counterblast very much. That's right there is even a situational counterblast. We're still playing 2 Shigemanago. It's just good to help fix your boards, and then if you rest it, you can still replace him by retiring your rear guard and retiring it. Now, a card that I slept on big time when I first came out was Orlando. This card is actually pretty bonkers. If it's in your soul and you retire one of your opponent's rear guards, you can counterblast one to call it out. It combos really, really well with Dustin, which we'll get to later. After you use it, say you use it for Eugene's cost, you can use it Eugene. When Eugene attacks, you can use the second skill to put it into the soul to give Eugene an extra 5k. It always has a use, whether you have to rest it or use it as a booster. The biggest problem with our grade 1s, if you notice, while they all have amazing utility, the problem is a lot of times they don't stay on the board. Our perfect guards we never really want to call out. These guys go to soul, and these guys all retire themselves. That's always been a problem, even back with Kagero. They never really had great boosters, dedicated boosters. They always had some kind of effect that forced them to leave the field. That's why we built our grade 2s the way we did. They all gain boosts so they can hit either by themselves, or if they do have a booster, they can hit really, really good numbers. First off, we got 3 Jabraccio. We've knocked it down to 1 Randor because we just have so many better options for grade 2s, and all Randor did was give us a soul charge, which we really don't need anymore. Jabraccio helps us retire. It does cost a soul blast, but even if we don't use that effect, you can still gain 5k just for your opponent having 1 or less rear guards. So our goal is to make sure our opponent never has rear guards by the end of our turn, so he's always going to gain this 5k. This card was another one that I wasn't big on, but it works really, really well in the early game, and it's a constant threat, even if you call it to the back row. That is Steel Bullet of Dust Storm Ethan. If your Vanguard's attack hits, you retire this unit to countercharge 1 and draw a card. It's one of the only generic countercharge cards Dragon Empire has, but it makes sure your Vanguard's always a threat. Your opponent has to choose, do they want to take the hit or they want to let you draw a card. It's great with Randor in the beginning early game because you can swing with him, whether it be by himself or boosted, depending on if you went first or second. Then when you swing with Randor, you Counter Blast 1 with Randor, Soul Charge 1, then now he's 15. Now if your opponent, normally your opponent wants to take that, but now they have to decide if they want to let you counter charge the damage you just flipped and let you draw a card. It's a great pressure tool too. And then the Mac Daddy, hold on, let me put the SP up front, is Dustin. This card is silly and single-handedly saved us from some of our worst matchups. When you call this card, you can take a card from your hand, put it into the soul, draw a card, and retire one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards. And then when he swings, you can Soul Blast 1, and he gains 2k for every one of your opponent's open rear guard circles. That boost gets silly. It combos really good with Orlando because you can actually put Orlando in as cost, draw a card, pop a rear guard, and then use Orlando's effect to Counter Blast 1 and call him out. So then you immediately get an 18k row that turns into a 28k row if your opponent has no rear guards. It's bonkers. If you hit a front trigger, forget about it. On your grade 3s, obviously we're still playing for Eugene. We still have the Persona ride. We didn't get a fancy, grade 4, so he's still our go-to. We're also playing 2 Maynards. This deck really doesn't counterblast. If you look at all the cards on that we had here, we have 1, 2, 3 cards that counterblast. That's it. Nothing else counterblasts. You only get a counterblast with Nigel if you need to retire. You only get a counterblast with these if you need to make a board, which the deck can make a board on its own if you don't. And then Randor is literally turn 2, you're gonna counterblast, and that's the only time you're gonna ever use him. So other than that, it's just these 2. So this guy is a counterblast 2. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire every rear guard in the column. There's already cards in the game that say they can't be targeted, so you can target the unit behind it and then wipe the row. It's an easy way to dodge these pseudo resist cards. And then lastly, we have the only order we play in this deck. We play 3 copies of Best Harvest. You want to see this card because other than calling out a board with Eugene, this is your biggest plus engine. You activate this, and then every time you retire a rear guard for the turn, you get to draw a card. It makes it so you replenish your hand super fast. You can build the board the way you want to, getting retires along the way, and just drawing a million cards. I've had games where I've drawn 5 cards off of this, 2 turns in a row. Now, this deck's biggest problem is deck out. That's why you do not want to play any draw triggers in this deck, because you will literally beat yourself. You can survive just about anything as long as you don't overextend and deck yourself out. But that's the deck. Hope you guys like it. Any questions? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, guys, that's it for this video. Again, deck does struggle with deck out. It's how I've actually lost the majority of my games now, is I'll deck myself out if I overextend a little too much, draw too many cards, superior call too much. But the deck survivability is second to none. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Any techs that you think I should try out, let me know those too. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. That's it from me, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.
We gon' ghost them when we pull out with them shells. Hop out the surface, we giving out them L's.